K-Rugs, the sober dog, and Gemma Girl, the other sober dog. Today's video is about inpatient rehab, the pros and cons of inpatient rehab. I want to hear from you. If you got experience with inpatient rehab, if you've been there yourself, if a family member's been there and you don't mind sharing, let me know in the comments about your experience, how it was, how long you were there, if it helped, if it didn't help, if it was expensive. Let me know everything. All right, let's get right into the video. A lot of us have to go to inpatient rehab sometimes with addiction, or it's should I go, do I need to go, all these questions. So the pros and cons. Let's get right into it. All right, pros of inpatient rehab: a break from your environment. Sometimes our environment's terrible, people, places, things we're hanging out with. So just to go to inpatient and get a break can be a great benefit. Number two, it's kind of like forced clean time. So you're there and you're pulled out, like number one, of the environment. So you kind of have to be clean while you're there because there's not drugs available. Three, personal and group treatment all in one setting. You got, group treatment during the day. You might have one-on-one therapy with a therapist. You got, different drug, groups, and they might bring 12-step meetings in. All this stuff you got in one setting, so you get a lot of great treatment. Built right into that one is the one-on-one therapy. Therapy helps a lot of people in recovery, so having that therapy right there, while you're doing inpatient can be a huge benefit. Number five is 24/7 supervision. You got, health workers, mental health workers, doctors, whatever, nurses, 24/7. So if you're detoxing, withdrawing, if you got, side health issues, high blood pressure, something that needs to be monitored, all that stuff can be monitored right there in the inpatient, which is, a huge benefit while your body's, coming off alcohol or heroin or whatever the drug may be. Six is you leave with a treatment plan. I've done articles and videos on the treatment plan. It's a huge benefit to have a treatment plan. Know what places to avoid, know what you should do on a daily basis for your recovery, your emergency numbers of people to call. So having a good treatment plan, you work with a counselor to make it inpatient is a huge benefit to leave with. Six, medically assisted detox. Like I said with the 24/7, health workers, is detoxing from alcohol, benzos. These can be deadly. You could die from alcohol detox. You could die from benzo detox. It's very hard to die from heroin detox, but it's still very unpleasant. You got, medical supervision there the whole time while you're going through this stuff. Seven is you're not alone. When you're an inpatient, there's others there going through what you're going through, and you build like a bond because, I'm coming in, maybe I'm on day 2 and somebody else is on day 5 and they're coming off whatever. And we're both going through this tough time of addiction together, so you bond with the other people there at the rehab. Maybe there's 10 or maybe there's 40, but you bond with them because you all got a common struggle you're trying to work through. Number 8, I think it's number 8. No worries, distractions from daily life. It's very nice to be somewhere where you could focus completely on getting clean, and you don't got, you're not worried about taking the kids here, picking, paying this bill right now, all that stuff. You don't have to worry about that right then and there at that time. You can just focus on recovery. So those are the benefits. Now the cons of inpatient. This is the biggest one, in my opinion. Number one always is the cost. It can be very expensive. Inpatient, depending on what your insurance will cover, or the state, if they'll cover some or whatever, can be very expensive. Number two, there's often a waiting list, or it's usually not, I want to go today, I get right in today. It can be a 5-day process. It could be paperwork to be filled out. And the problem with this is during that time, the person, today I might be completely ready to go, but I gotta wait 4 or 5 days. By that time, I'm gone. I'm ripping and running. I'm 2 counties over getting high. Number 3, you're not allowed to come and go as you please. You can't just, go there, do your treatment for the day, and go home, be with your kids, or go to work. When you're there, you're there. And if you leave, that's it. They don't let you back in. So you can't just come and go. You got to stay there for the 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it may be. Number 4, very structured. Everything is your meals at the same time, your exercise at the same time. Everything's the same time every day, all lined up for you. Now, some people look at that as a con. Could also be a pro, because if you're on the street ripping and running and everything's chaos, it might be nice to have everything lined up. But for other people, they don't like someone telling them what to do the whole part of the day. Number 5 is you're going to need to take significant time off of work, and this is also going to lead into, if many people in your life don't know about your addiction, you're going to have to tell them now, because where are you going for 60 days? People are going to be asking questions. Where are you going for 90 days? And you're going to need to tell your employer. The good part is many states now have laws where if you tell your employer that you're struggling with an addiction and you got to go to rehab, they can't fire you. They got to work with you. So, you shouldn't get fired from your job if you come up, if you tell them the truth and come clean. And number 6 is childcare. Childcare can be a huge one. If you got kids and you got to go away for 30 or 60 days, you got to find someone to watch them. That can be a huge, pain or deterrent or costly. So that's something you got to take into consideration. Number 7 is and this is the last one, there's no guarantees it's going to work. I cannot tell you how many people I know that have sent their kids to an expensive rehab. They come out 2 weeks later, they're using. A month later, they're using. That doesn't mean the rehab didn't work. That just means that person is not ready to get sober. I went to 4 different rehabs. Not one of them did I stay clean at when I left. I know parents that have shelled out 50, 60 grand for rehabs, and the kid's using 2-3 days after they get out, or they walked out a week into it. So those are the pros and cons of inpatient rehab. In general, if you're struggling with an addiction, I absolutely am for inpatient. I think it's a great place to go away, clear your mind. You got people there to help you all day and all night. All right, that's my video on the pros and cons of rehab. See you.